Hi, everyone. I was fortunate to have to present to investment bankers last week some of the digital trends and technology trends that are here in 2021. And I based what I presented on McKinsey documents and research. And I wanted to share that with you today. So let's get on. First, technology is what has been underpinning industrial revolution, as this GDP per capita analysis from McKinsey shows. The first, the second, the third, and the one that is here, and for some has started already, is the fourth industrial revolution that is highly accelerated by innovations, technology innovations. As the futurist Peter Diamandis, co-founder of the Singular University, says, in the next decade, we'll experience more progress than in the past 100 years combined. Actually, unifying and underlying all of these trends is the combinational effect of massively faster computation with quantum computing, which is propelling new convergence between technologies, astonishing breakthroughs in health, material sciences, astonishing new product and services functionalities, and an irresistible foundation for the reinvention of companies, industries, markets, and different sectors. Will your organization make the most of these trends to pursue new heights of rapid innovation, improved performance, and significant achievement? That is the question of the day, I guess. Let's look at the change in market valuation of different industries on the S&P 500. Since the last financial crisis, 2008, you can see the graph here on my screen. Tech is the only one really getting rapid growth again. According to McKinsey again, here are the top 10 tech trends reshaping our world. So, number one, the next level of automation in all kinds of areas, fueled by Internet of Things in the industry, robots, collaborative robots called also cobots, or robotic process automation. And what goes with it? The process visualization. Companies have their digital twins, and that matters. 3D printing, and now even 4D printing. 4D printing is the process through which a 3D printed object transforms itself into another structure over the influence of external energy, input like heat, temperature, or light, or other environmental stimuli. The future of connectivity, 5G and Internet of Things, is the third trend. Distributed infrastructures with the advent of course, cloud computing, but also edge computing, bringing calculation closer to you and not necessarily remotely. The next generation computing is the fourth one, as we mentioned, quantum computing or other advancement in the fantastic capability of CPUs to be disseminated in the future computers. Of course, artificial intelligence is with us, but it is now applied in things like computer vision, and that will also reshape a lot of things, not to mention the sixth one, future of programming. Software 1.0 is behind us. Software 2.0 recognizes what? That with the advance of artificial intelligence, again, deep learning, we can build a neural network that learns which instructions or rules are needed for a desired outcome. Totally different way of programming stuff, and you'll see the result in a sec. And the seventh is about trust architecture. Yeah, security is all over the place, whether with zero trust security or blockchain, to mention a few. Industry-specific things are happening as well, and I will not do a deep dive on this. The bio-revolution on one hand, the next generation materials, or the future of clean technologies. Clean technologies is really important. As we all know, we need to do something by 2030 to avoid a disaster of climate change, and we're the last generation to do something, but I digress. But what is really key is to understand the impact of those technology trends in various areas. First one, next level of process automation and virtualization. Well, 50% of today's work activities will be or could be automated by 2025, which is a massive change here for all kinds of jobs. And the connectivity, McKinsey assessed that by 2030, nearly 80% of the world population will be reached by 5G. The distributed infrastructures, more than 75% of enterprise-generated data will be processed either on the edge computing or cloud computing by 2025. That's pretty close. And when we think about the next generation of computing, it will be of value by nearly $1 trillion in 2035. Massive, massive impact. Artificial intelligence, well, the prediction, again, from McKinsey is that more than 75% of all digital service touch points, like voice assistant, will see an improved usability. When you think about that in the context of a customer experience, that will dramatically change the digital touches and the capacity you have to capture emotions and make the experience really more convenient and more effortless, I should say. The future of programming, Software 2.0, will reduce time to market by a factor of 30, which is incredible. And that is not only for people doing software as a business, but actually most of the touch points in traditional business or other industries are fueled by applications, starting with mobile applications. So that has massive impact. And then the trust architecture, including blockchain, could represent, according to McKinsey again, by 2027, nearly 10% of the overall GDP. I'll not deep dive again on the verticals, but the bio-revolution, next generation material, and future of clean technologies are also bringing significant changes of those industries. But what about companies and what they do with their investment in technology? This is an interesting way to look at things. An analysis of relative changes in cash flow, McKinsey highlights the increased lead of early adopters of artificial intelligence, i.e. those have adopted since 2017 or will adopt it before 2022, compared to followers and laggards. You can tell they're really getting a better position here, and time is of the essence here. Business leaders should impulse more urgency to adopt some of the tech innovations I did mention earlier to make sure they stay on top of their industry. That's potentially the message here and what I'd like to bring across. But unfortunately, we're all going through that COVID-19 pandemic. What did it change? So McKinsey again did some research this very year in January, for about 1,500 executives in different companies. But what did the COVID pandemic did introduce in the digital transformation, apart from accelerating its adoption, typically 3 to 7 years of forecast adoption in just a few months of lockdown? According to McKinsey, and you can read it here, and the executives they interviewed, companies will, with better overall technology capabilities, talent, leadership, and resources, are seeing better economic outcomes. Let's try to understand a little bit why. The pandemic has dramatically increased the speed at which digital is fundamentally changing the business. McKinsey 2020 previous survey showed that across key areas of the business model, companies' overall adoption of digital technology has even sped up 3 to 7 years ahead in a span of a few months. We said that. The 2021 newest results from McKinsey show that this acceleration is also happening at the level of core business practices. What was considered best-in-class speed for most business practices in 2018 is now slower than average. And that companies with the strongest technology investment, two respondents even said, they're operating at even faster pace. But it is not only the pace of business that the COVID-19 crisis has fundamentally changed. According to the survey, many respondents recognize that their operating business models are becoming obsolete. Only 11% believe their current business model will be economically viable through 2023. Alarming, while 64% say their company need to build new digital business to help them get there. Let's look at top economic performers that were more innovative than their peers during the COVID-19 crisis. The top decile performers have also taken a bolder approach to innovation and now obtain a much larger share of their sales products or services that didn't exist 1 year ago. What's more, the top decile performers are making more aggressive plans to differentiate themselves with technology, with some preparing to reinvent their value proposition altogether. And it spans across different industries. I won't do a deep dive on this one, but each industry answering that survey mentioned a few areas where they really felt vulnerable. And you can see the darker the dots, the more the vulnerability. So all industries, all sectors are exposed. Looking ahead, the corporate recovery from the COVID-19 crisis will involve permanent changes to many dimensions of an organization. The pace at which it conducts its business, the very nature of that business value proposition, and the talent, capabilities, and leadership that are necessary for success. With digital and technology-driven disruptions, creating winner-takes-all dynamics in more and more industries, only a small subset of organizations is likely to thrive. And even these companies have much more room to strengthen their technology investment. McKinsey results confirm not only that a strong technology foundation is critical, but also that leading companies are far ahead of competitors in building theirs. For everyone else, the time is new to make bold investment in technology and capabilities that will equip their business to outperform others in a rapidly evolving landscape. There'll be more things to say here, and I'm happy to hear about what you experience and what your views are, so feel free to connect. See you soon.